It requires a significant amount of forethought and effort to get the automobiles and pickup trucks of your choice to the local dealer. In most cases, automobile designers are tasked with striking a careful balance. On the one hand, they are obligated to satisfy the requirements set forth by the customers. As an illustration, Ford recently decided to discontinue the production of the majority of its passenger vehicle models due to the continued popularity of SUVs and trucks. On the other hand, they are adamant about preserving both their aesthetic and the integrity of the car brand. This could be a new way of looking at things altogether, or it could indicate futuristic style elements. On top of everything else, they need to think about the rules and regulations that pertain to things like fuel pollution, safety, and a great deal more. When a designer finally gets it perfect, the truly challenging part of their job has just begun. The automobile production procedure in step-by-step form. The flow chart for the production process of automobiles begins with metal sheets because recycled resources are frequently used in the construction of automobiles. On modern assembly lines, robots rather than human craftspeople are responsible for the production of the vast majority of automobiles. The acquiring of raw materials and their reworking. Manufacturers need access to raw materials to take an automobile from an idea to a finished product. Because climate change is such a pressing concern, businesses are looking for materials that are less dense, more environmentally friendly, and less expensive to satisfy customer demand for greener products. Automobile manufacturing, engineering, and product design. It takes several iterations of a car's design before it is perfected to the point where it satisfies the requirements and preferences of the general public. In addition, both the interiors and exteriors of the car need to be appealing and functional for prospective customers, and they should have novel features that give the vehicle a competitive edge and make it newsworthy. To evaluate potential automotive designs, engineers create scale models in both 2 and 3 dimensions. Aerodynamics, safety, temperature, fuel economy, electrical operations, and cost analysis are some of the other factors to consider. Only once the design and engineering specifications of the car have been checked, tested, and given the green light can the manufacturing process begin. Certain standards must be adhered to by all manufacturers, even though each manufacturer has their own method of producing automobiles. Printing press or stamping work. The production process starts with the pressing of steel sheets into various metal components. In most cases, the fundamental framework of an automobile is comprised of pressed-in door panels, roofs, bonnets, and boot lids, among other components. The sheets are pressed into form in stages as part of a pressing process that requires multiple steps. Cosmetic surgery or welding. Welding shops are the typical ones from which automobiles emerge. In most cases, the shape of a monocoque-designed car is formed at birth from pressed pieces. Sometimes it is a single pressed piece, and other times it is the union of the front and rear underbodies of the vehicle. When the roof, sides, and underbody of the vehicle are welded together, the vehicle's sides begin to take shape. Watching the tungsten inert gas (TIG) welding process, in which numerous robotic arms operate together in harmony and with the highest level of precision, is a fascinating activity. Paint shop with an assembly line. The output of the weld shop is referred to as body in white, or BIW for short. The cabs that serve the paint shop arrive here. Painting is simultaneously one of the most organized and complicated processes. It is necessary, for instance, to prevent dust from entering paint booths. There are a variety of ancillary procedures that take place in the paint shop. The BIW is then submerged in an electrolyte solution as part of the pre-treatment process, which helps the paint adhere more effectively to the metal. Sealant. Before applying paint, BIWs will access areas that require sealant treatment. Booths for painting. These are the booths in which BIWs begin the painting process. To finish the job in this location, either highly skilled human labor or robots would be required to do the work. When access is granted, it is contingent on the wearer having the appropriate protective gear on and the surrounding area being immaculate. Oven. After painting the bodies, manufacturers put them through the oven for a final bake to complete the process. Wax booths. These are the places where thin coats of wax are applied to the skin. It is possible for vehicles that are destined for lesser variations or local markets to bypass this phase. Polishing is one of the processes that takes the most amount of time and requires the biggest amount of labor. The brilliance and sheen of each vehicle are brought out by polishing. Polishing methods are more complicated, and a general rule of thumb states that the longer the process is, the better it will turn out. As a consequence of this, the amount of time required to polish the vehicle increases in proportion to its price. Repair shop for transmissions and engines. It is impossible to have a meaningful conversation about the process of making automobiles without first addressing the engine and transaxle, also known as the heart of any vehicle. This stage is performed immediately after the operations that take place in the paint shop because the engine of a vehicle is often conceived in the paint shop. The identity of the engine is determined during the process of cutting the engine block and punching the EIN, which stands for the engine identification number. Several stages of the machining of the pistons, including inserting the piston rings and decreasing the group into the block, are subject to precision control while the engine is being assembled. The engine is put through its paces once the engine head has been installed. Two of the most important tests are the ones that check for leaks and pressure. Some of the engines are pre-run before they are joined to their corresponding transaxles. In most cases, an assembly of the transaxle that also includes the gearbox assembly is available at this point of the process. The manufacturing of the engine comes after that of the body of the vehicle, and the display of the transaxle comes after that of the engine. The finishing touches or trim. This marks the end of the process of producing automobiles. When the car is in motion, every component of the vehicle contributes to the forward movement of the vehicle. The majority of the fitting that occurs during this production process is performed by human hands. Collaboration ensures that the appropriate details are available at the appropriate time in the fitting area by keeping track of all of the relevant information. It's all about being in the right place at the right moment and following the right procedure. A great number of automobile components are located in this area, including the windshield, the trims, the steering column, the electronics, and the union of the engine and the vehicle. When all is said and done, the car will be able to go forward on its own once the wheels have been installed. Final inspection and tests to ensure quality. Before being delivered to the dealership, the fully assembled vehicle is subjected to quality control testing to guarantee that it is free of any flaws after each stage of production has been completed. In addition, the outside and interior of the car are inspected by the manufacturer for any flaws or irregularities that might be present. These are checked, putting the engine through a series of starts and stops many times, performing the necessary adjustments to the steering alignment. The headlights are evaluated based on their brilliance as well as their reach. Conducting inspections of the brakes for safety, heavy water pressure testing to look for leaks in the system, examinations that decipher the programming of automobiles, performing a comprehensive check of all electrical devices for both accessibility and safety. In addition, manufacturers put the car's airbags and seatbelts through crash tests to see how well they can withstand impact and how well they operate overall. Now that the car has been designed, the corporation can work on a marketing plan, establish a price for it, and introduce it to customers. This is assuming that the car is successful in all of its tests and does not need any additional modifications. So this is the end of our today's video. Do you like it? Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and informative videos.